Hi, my name is Eric. I'm 75 years old. In July of 2022, I ended up in the U of A hospital and stayed there for 82 days with a strong infection and a gallbladder removal that just made me think, along with other reasons, that I've had my life. I don't really want to go on living anymore. I've had a good life. I've seen lots. I've done lots. I've had a lot of awesome moments, and it didn't seem possible anymore. And if I was going to get out of the hospital, then I wanted to see the mountains one more time. Life did not really seem to have any meaning for me anymore. I wasn't going to commit suicide, though. That just seemed too terrible. So I worked out this 4-page plan during my stay in the hospital on how to die with dignity. It was very important for me. There would be dignity in my death. And in my plans, 48 hours after leaving the hospital, I would put that in effect in a way that nobody would ever find my body in a beautiful place in the mountains. I would be in a cave. Somebody would find the car eventually parked in the parking lot, and they would see the notes and they would see the love letters. But I realized that probably most people would just think I committed suicide. I would know I died with dignity for the last 2 minutes of my life, but that would be all. So as soon as I was able to leave the hospital, my daughter had packed my car with all my camping equipment that I would need, and I headed out to Banff. It took me 2 days to get there, and the morning of the second day, I decided I would take some hikes, and the one I most wanted to do was the one to Sundance Canyon, which is by the lower hot springs, and that's what I did. Beautiful hike. There was some frost on the creek, ice on the creek, but it made it look even nicer. And I met 3 gals while I was there.
My name is Payton, and yeah, I moved here a few months ago when I was offered an intern job at this church, Banff Park Church. The pastor actually knows my dad since he graduated at the Bible college that my dad is a cook at. So yeah, while we were here, we went on a road trip to Vancouver Island and stopped in at this church. And the pastor was like, thought maybe there's a reason that I was coming through and that he knew my dad. When I moved to Banff, a lot of my friends and family were like, oh, that's so cool, like there's so much hiking and like outdoorsy stuff to do, like skiing, snowboarding. And since I've been here, I've been on 2 hikes, and one of them, a lot of people who live here don't even call it a hike, so yeah. I've been skiing once. You won't see me a lot on hikes, that's just not really my thing, but I did happen to go on a few.
2 of them were German. One of them was English speaking. And I had our pleasantries. They were leaving. I was still going to see it.
Like I said, I've only been on 2 hikes since I've been here, and the day I went to Sundance Canyon where I met Eric, my friends and I were planning to go, and my one friend, Tabea, she's so into hiking, like just loves that. She's done crazy hikes before. And so we decided we'd get a group of friends to go together, and we went to on this hike, and I, to be honest, did not want to go.
But I'm a pretty fast walker, and I ended up seeing the canyon and catch up with them on the way back.
I don't know, not in shape at all. So this is just like, gets my heart rate up, and yeah, so it's hard work for me. But anyway, I decided I would go.
And for some reason that I still can't explain, but where I begin to see the hand of God in what happened, the Canadian girl named Payton separated herself from the other two girls and just walked with me and started talking to me.
Yeah, then we just started talking, and I think he asked us how we knew each other, because there was a group of, I think, 5 of us on that hike. And so I mentioned that we all met at church. We just decided to go on a hike one day together. Yeah, I asked him about himself, and that's when he was just sharing how he just got out of the hospital.
He said something to the effect of, "I can see you're not very happy," which was surprising because I was very happy to see the mountains, and I would have thought I was smiling. And it was more like, "I can see it, something is bothering you. You're not comfortable." I knew I wasn't comfortable because I knew what was in my mind, but I didn't think it was showing. He said, "Well, you know something, in Banff, I know of a very welcoming and very warm church that I attend. Maybe you might like to come there, and maybe we would find some healing just by being there."
Yeah, I just remember thinking it was so cool how God works in bringing people together.
So the next Sunday, I think it was 2 days later, the next Sunday, sure enough, I showed up. She was there to greet me, smiles. She must have told some other people about me because there were a lot of people who smiled at me, or maybe they always smiled, I don't know. It was just very warm and welcoming.
Yeah, so I think it was the next Sunday. I was in church, and I believe it was when the pastor said just to greet someone that you haven't seen that day. And I turned around and I saw Eric there. And I was just so happy to see him. I thought it was really cool. I really wasn't sure if he was going to show up. I had offered, but I just had no idea. And so it was really, really cool to see him there. I remember sharing the story with my family the day that I met Eric on that hike, and I just said, yeah, we met this man, super nice, and just was able to share with him that I'm a believer, and we invited him to our church here.
Hi, Payton, how are you?
Good, how are you?
Great, I'm really great. I want to thank you once again so much for what you did that day when we were coming back from Sundance Canyon. It changed my life for me. I was in a real dark place, and I really wasn't sure I would get out of it or how I would get out of it. And you showed me a way by coming here. This place has been so warm and welcoming that it's just changed everything for me. It's enabled me to actually pray and ask for Jesus Christ to be my Savior, which I haven't been able to do for a long, long time. And that makes me feel a whole lot more secure because I'm not alone anymore. I have somebody looking after me, and I believe in that, and I really want to thank you for that. That was terrific. I hope that someday I can pass forward to somebody else what you did for me.
Well, over the past few months that I've gotten to know you, I've been so excited. I tell my mom every time that you come to church when you first started coming, I guess you showed up again. Eric came to church, and she's always like, oh, that's awesome. And they just know that just because I've shared with how excited I am that you've been coming and getting plugged into this church.
Absolutely.
And it's so fun seeing you at chili night, interacting with all the people, young people, old people, and seeing you at Soup's On and being able to talk there. And honestly, you're like a grandpa to me. I'm just so thankful for being able to meet you, and I love so much our conversations and being able to talk to you. And just seeing how God is at work in you, and through meeting you, God has been at work in my heart too, and just seeing just opportunities. Your story is one of the first that I've been able to see, someone that I've shared the gospel with come to faith. And so it's just grown that faith inside of me to go out and just keep sharing the gospel, because you never know where people are at in their life.
That's right.
And so God just asks us to share and to plant the seed, and that He will do the rest. And so it's just been a great example.
And I really needed the planting of this seed. I was in a pretty desperate position, and it's been fantastic to be here, to see you involved in the church, always with a big smile, and I look forward to giving you that chess lesson.
Yes, me too.
May I give you a hug?
Absolutely.
Yeah. Really appreciate what you did for me. Really